comes at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag is Channel 1 Weekend. Please tell me yes or no and your reasons for saying yes or even for saying no. Let's begin with the highlights. COVID-19 vaccination campaign rolled out, with Acting Director General in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, being the first person to get the Oxford AstraZeneca jab.
Zile mila ambazo zaumiza watoto wetu tuachane nazo, lakini zile mila ambazo ni za manufaa kwa watoto wetu tuendelee nazo.
President Uhuru Kenyatta presides over the unveiling of a landmark declaration by Samburu elders to end FGM and child marriages. And Interior Ministry orders suspension of firearm licenses for leaders involved in chaos during Thursday's by-elections. Good evening. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Purity Museo and Lucy Mwara is our sign language interpreter tonight. We ask you, will you take the jab, the COVID-19 vaccine jab, if and when the time comes? At Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag is Channel 1 Weekend. I'll be going through your views and feedback during this broadcast. Let's begin this broadcast. Acting Director General in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, is the first person to get the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine jab on Kenyan soil. Dr. Amoth took the AstraZeneca vaccine at the Kenyatta National Hospital in Nairobi as the Ministry of Health officially launched the countrywide vaccination campaign. The DG, who spoke shortly after the vaccination, said or assured Kenyans of the safety of the vaccine and urged those who will get the opportunity to take the jab not to hesitate. The health workers, rather, will be the first beneficiaries of the exercise. A calm and collected Dr. Patrick Amoth, Kenya's Health Director General, rolled up his sleeves to lead the nation in getting the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine jab. Kenyatta National Hospital's CEO, Dr. Evanson Kamuri, was second to receive the jab on the Kenyan soil, followed by a nurse at the hospital and Dr. Collins Tabu, the head of immunization and vaccine program in the Health Ministry.
I'm feeling great. That is why I can be able to stand in front of you in this hot sun and address you. So that is an indication that the vaccine is safe.
The exercise began with a brief conversation between the nurse in charge and the person receiving the jab, probably an update on possible side effects of the vaccine, after which one is inoculated.
I was being briefed about the potential side effects of the vaccine, like I would be able to get some headache, some pain in the body, heaviness in the arm. These are standard potential adverse events of the vaccine. They may not happen to everybody, but it's important to be aware of them so that when they happen, you know the reason they're happening.
Oh, she was informing me about a few minor effects, like probably pain, a bit of, and things like that, which really wasn't there. And just in case there are any serious adverse effects, what to do. But so far, so good.
The dose will protect those who have received it from adverse effects of the deadly COVID-19 disease for at least 8 weeks in case of an infection before the second dose is administered. All those to be vaccinated have to sign a consent note and after the vaccination, rest for 30 minutes before being discharged. The World Health Organization country representative, Dr. Rudy Eggers, termed the vaccine a game changer in the fight against the deadly COVID-19 disease in Kenya.
The AstraZeneca vaccine produced by the Serum Institute of India, this vaccine we now have in Kenya, has been reviewed and found safe by WHO itself and several other stringent regulatory authorities, including the United States FDA and the European Regulatory Authority.
According to the Ministry of Health, the exercise will kick off in other counties on Monday next week.
Ministry of Health is employing a data management and reporting electronic vaccine registry, the Chanjo Management Information System, which was developed together with our experts from the Ministry of ICT and Youth Affairs. The system will enable the Ministry of Health in vaccine traceability, thus ensuring that our stocks are professionally managed. It will track and manage vaccination schedules. It will help in the routine, the reporting and addressing of any adverse effects, and it will finally provide us with the reliable reports that we require for decision making and for policy.
North Rift region has already received a consignment of 60,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine set to benefit Baringo, Nandi, Uasin Gishu, West Pokot, Turkana and Trans Nzoia counties. On Thursday, President Uhuru Kenyatta flagged off trucks carrying the doses to be distributed in health facilities across the country. The vaccine was procured by UNICEF under the COVAX facility. There's light at the end of the tunnel. The fight against the COVID-19 disease has been boosted by the arrival of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. However, experts warn that we are yet at the exit of this tunnel and Kenyans need to strictly continue to adhere to COVID-19 protocols. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News at the Kenyatta National Hospital, Nairobi. So will you take the jab if and when the opportunity comes? Will you take this jab if and when the opportunity presents itself? At Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 is the hashtag is Channel 1 Weekend on Twitter. I'm following up on your feedback. Keep them coming. We are live on Facebook. And the Interior Ministry has directed the Firearm Licensing Board to suspend firearm licenses for leaders involved in chaos during yesterday's by-elections. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says any politician involved in chaos will not only be prosecuted but will be subjected to Chapter 6 of the Constitution and risk being declared unfit to hold public office. The development coming as 4 legislators arrested for allegedly planning to commit a felony during the Kabuchai constituency by-election in Bungoma County were released on a 50,000 shillings bond each.
Barely a day after violence were witnessed during the Thursday's by-election in Kabuchai, Matungwe, Nakuru, Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i has condemned the incident, saying the culprits will face the consequence.
So you walk to a place, you beat up presiding officers, you slap people as a way of showing how strong and important you are. We are beyond talking on this particular issue. And we have agreed this morning, I have convened a meeting of all the law enforcement agencies. We are going to act.
While decrying the fair bail terms and prosecution delays for prominent politicians, Matiang'i said the government will move to court and ensure leaders engaging in chaos are declared unfit to hold public office.
We are going to adopt a different method of doing this, which is we will now go to court ourselves. And the Honorable Attorney General has advised me, as government, we can actually go to court, invoke Chapter 6, and ask that some people be declared unfit to hold public office.
This as 4 legislators, Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei, Kimilili Member of Parliament Didmas Barasa, Chesumei MP Wilson Kogo, and Belguts Nelson Koech were each set free on a 50,000 shillings bond by Bungoma Locots after they were charged for having offensive weapons. The legislators who spent a night at Bungoma Police Station were accused of causing chaos at the Matungu constituency mini-poll. The leaders were also accused of voter bribery. The matter will be heard on 4th April 2021.
Police officers are actually frustrated because it's the leaders who are doing these things. How is it that wananchi who are queuing genuinely on a line to vote are not interrupted by anyone? How come that wananchi wa kawaida, people wake up in the morning, they go to a polling station, they queue there, they vote, they go home. They have no problem. Some of them never even interact with a police officer. Police officers interact with these people when they are either bribing or they are trying to interrupt or interfere with the process of elections.
Their release comes shortly after Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai instructed the Firearm Licensing Board to suspend firearm licenses for leaders involved in chaos during the by-elections. In a statement, Mutiambai further directed the affected leaders to surrender their firearms to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations (DCI) with immediate effect. Meanwhile, Rashid Echesa risks being treated as an armed and dangerous criminal by the police after failing to surrender to the police by Friday 1 p.m. as instructed by the Inspector General. Rashid Echesa is wanted over an incident in which he was captured on camera assaulting an electoral official on Thursday. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
Staying with politics, Ford Kenya's party candidate Majimbo Kalasinga is the new Kabuchai Member of Parliament, with Amani National Congress Party candidate Peter Oscar Nabulindo carrying the day in Matungu in the just concluded parliamentary by-elections. Majimbo garnered 19,274 votes, with Nabulindo clinching the seat with 14,257 votes. The two parties have managed to retain the seats, stamping authority in the area, with ANC's Musalia Mudavadi and Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula terming the outcome as proof that the parties are rooted in the region.
Managed to garner 14,257 votes, being the highest amount of votes, and therefore he emerges the winner in this contest.
It was a big win for Amani National Congress and Ford Kenya parties in the just concluded Kabuchai and Matungu parliamentary by-elections, after managing to retain the seats that were left vacant following the passing on of James Lusweti for Kabuchai and Justus Murunga for Matungu, the party leaders hailing the support of the people.
We are a united people. We have made one important step. An important step because we have a long journey. That journey is to the leadership of this country, to State House, to the presidency.
In the highly contested seats that attracted a wide range of candidates, Ford Kenya party candidate Majimbo Kalasinga clinched the Kabuchai seat with 19,274 votes out of 29,798 total votes cast. In his victory speech, Majimbo called on competitors to join hands and discuss development agenda. United Democratic Alliance party candidate Evans Kakai coming second with a big margin at 6,445. Wekesa Amos of Federal Party of Kenya emerged third with 1,454 votes. ANC's Matungu candidate Peter Nabulindo carried the day with 14,257 votes.
Ndoto yangu leo imetimia, na kwamba kutimia kwa ndoto yangu kunanipa nafasi ya kufanya mambo fulani ambayo nilikuwa nimepanga kuyafanya Matungu kwa sababu ya huduma kwa mwananchi wa Matungu.
ODM's candidate David Were followed closely with 10,565 votes, while Alex Lanya of UDA garnered 5,513, coming third in the by-election. The returning officer for Matungu, John Kirui, said the by-election was successful despite the few challenges experienced, such as the case of former CS Rashid Echesa assaulting an IEBC official. Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has since called for the arrest of the former sports CS. Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News.
And in Nakuru, the United Democratic Alliance UDA candidate Anthony Nzuki Wachira emerged the winner in the hotly contested Nakuru's London ward by-election. Nzuki garnered 1,707 votes, with his closest challenger Jubilee's Francis Njoroge bagging 1,385 votes in an exercise marked by poor voter turnout and chaos. Jubilee Party also won the Hellsgate ward in Naivasha and Uasin Gishu's Huruma ward. ODM carried the day in Kisisi's Kiamokama ward by-election.
It was jubilation galore after the United Democratic Alliance UDA party carried the day at the hotly contested Nakuru's London ward after its candidates Anthony Nzuki Wachira garnered 1,107 votes, with his closest rival Jubilee's Francis Njoroge bagging 1,385 votes.
Mimi kama MCA wenu nitafanya kazi ambaye Mungu amenipatia niwafanyie, na ninaomba Mungu aniongoze nifanye kazi kwa uaminifu na upendo kwenu.
In Kisii County, Kiamokamo Ward by-election, the ODM candidate Malachi Matara Mainya is the MCA-elect after he emerged the winner with a total of 1,907 votes.
Kiamokamo remains a united ward, and I urge you all to remain united as we're going to work together.
Daniel Ondari of PED came second with 1,257 votes ahead of two other close contestants, Stephen Nyakeriga of PPP with 1,004, with Nyandusi Nyakeramba of UDA getting 491 votes.
I now want to declare the winner of the member of county assembly election results as Njoroge.
Jubilee's candidate Lucy Ngendo Chomba was declared winner in the Uasin Gishu Huruma ward after garnering 2,498 votes against the total registered votes of 31,244 votes. Speaking in Huruma Ward, Uasin Gishu County, Jubilee Party Deputy Secretary General Joshua Kutuni says the party is still very strong in most parts after winning several seats in the recent by-elections.
Kama chama sisi tumefurahi, inathibitisha kwamba chama bado ina makali na tunaenda kuzindua mikakati mapya ya kuhakikisha kwamba tunaanza kuuza tena sera za chama, tunaanza kuleta viongozi karibu,
na ninaahidi ya kwamba kazi nitawafanyia mahali ambapo mzee Chomba aliwaachia, na Mungu amweke mahali pema, nitaweza kuikamilisha.
Finally, Jubilee Party redeemed its image in Naivasha after it won the hotly contested Hell's Gate ward by-elections that were marred by poor voter turnout.
Kuanzia hapa, we are hitting the ground running. Cause to Hell's Gate tumekaa kama tuko nyuma kidogo tagia marehemu MCA wetu alipoaga. Sasa ni lazima tujaribu kushika hiyo nafasi na tuitumie venye inastahili.
In the elections that were conducted peacefully, the party candidate Virginia Wamaitha garnered 3,955 votes against her closest rival, Jonathan Warothe from UDA, who got 2,742 votes.
To more politics, Deputy President William Ruto has called on residents of Mount Kenya to support his 2022 presidential bid, saying he is the best bet yet to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta. Speaking in Nkubu, Meru County, Ruto said his focus will be on, among others, reviving the dwindling economy, dealing with youth unemployment, and improving the markets for farmers in the country.
Deputy President William Ruto pitched camp in Meru County on Friday to woo residents to support his 2022 presidential ambitions. He said the Jubilee government had laid a solid foundation for Kenya's economy takeoff and required a leader with an understanding of its development roadmap to take the country forward.
Kwa hiyo watu yote mwenye anaweza kusukuma hii gurudumu iende mbele ni hasla ama ni wale? Hata kwa maoni yenu. Sasa kabla ya huyo mtu ya kutendawili kufika hapa, atajua Kirigara iko wapi.
Kwa hivyo sisi hatuna aibu kufanya kazi na kutembea na naibu wa rais, sababu mnakumbuka hata Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta mwenyewe alituambia yake 10 na William Ruto miaka ngapi?
Kura ya Kebake mlitushinda. Watu ya Meru mlishinda watu ya Nyeri. Kura ya Uhuru Kenyatta mkatushinda. Tumeamua watu ya Nyeri, kura ya William Ruto tutashinda nyinyi.
He further promised to revive stalled projects, prioritize improving the markets for produce, such as tea, coffee, and miraa, and dealing with cartels or disenfranchised farmers.
Na njia ya kuweka pesa kwa mfuko ya mwananchi ni kuhakikisha mambo yake ya kilimo inasimamiwa sawasawa, ikiwemo mambo ya miraa.
Elsewhere, ODM leader Raila Odinga continued with his charm offensive in the coastal region, urging the residents to embrace the Building Bridges initiative as it provides a lasting solution to the thorny issue of historical land injustices. Speaking in Samburu, Kwale County, Raila once endorsed the government will be compelled to take necessary action, among them implementation of the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission and Ndungu Land Commission report.
Na hii ndio naongea swala nyeti ya ardhi. Manake mpwani shida kubwa zaidi ni mambo ya ardhi. Kama kuna watu ambao wamesikia dhuluma ya kihistoria ya mambo ya ardhi ni wapwani.
On the issue of formation of a coast region political party, Kwale County Women Representative Zuleka Hamis denounced the move being fronted by Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi.
Sasa wataka kuacha ODM, twende tutengeneze chama ambao hatukujui, hatukielewi, viongozi wake hatuwajui na hatujui wataka kutupeleka wapi. Kwa hivyo twakuomba usihadai sisi na wapwani.
Let action be taken against me. But when you see a police that we thought was reformed under the new constitution has lost command completely, where people can take the law into their hands and nothing happens.
Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
So tonight we ask you if you will take the job when the time comes, and most of you are actually saying yes. On Twitter at Hagade, you're starting by saying no, thank you, the world is not what it seems, there is too much malice. And then at Felix Ubuntu, I will gladly take the job. Alphonse Amara, absolutely yes, this will help curb the menace. And then we have at Mr. G, yes, vaccination is important to keep the disease at bay. Kagalo at Kagalo 5 on Twitter, no, the reason is the jab. Why is the jab being given to what are so-called vulnerable people? Everybody is vulnerable to the virus, so I will not take it. And then at Sospita Mkai, you're saying that kama dawa, of course I will. Keep your feedback coming in. Of course, tell us why. If you will take it, what are the reasons? If no, again, we will appreciate your reasons for that. Let's take our first commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We still have plenty more to come. Stay with us.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
I know you are jealous because he has it better than you. Maybe it's high time you also need to look around for a suit, eh? Your jealous is becoming too loud.
Quit your unsolicited advice, but you should remember that Queen A has it all under control, or otherwise. Dude.
I think sane men should stay single for the rest of your life. Kinyanjui, what do you say?
Tulu, my brother.
Hyena and Ngoda now flames. Wonders shall never end.
Who are you calling hyena and God? You small person. Stay out of my life.
But you better start talking.
Hey, what do you mean? We were going to talk anyway. How much?
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC. This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
I step on someone and someone says, hey, you stepped on me. And that's how the conversation started.
That is how I got her contacts.
Okay.
And,
oh, wow.
She had to go for vetting at my parents' place.
Okay.
There was a lot of approvals required.
And we took the risk of me stopping working to just take care of the child and go back to school. Eventually we thought, let's start a business.
Once someone's project an effort to change even the circumstances relating to the income coming to the family, then I think it should be embraced.
And trust is a product. If people trust you, they will trust you with their resources.
This is Channel 1 Weekend. Many thanks for staying with us. President Uhuru Kenyatta has challenged Kenyan communities practicing female genital mutilation to end it by finding alternative rites of passage. The president was speaking when he presided over the unveiling of a landmark declaration by Samburu elders to end FGM and child marriages among the communities at Kisima grounds in Samburu County.
President Uhuru Kenyatta was on Friday a guest of Samburu residents on a one-day working tour of the county. Top in the agenda, inspection of government projects, security situation in the vast county, meeting with community leaders, as well as a talk with area residents. The president joining the Samburu elders, led by Governor Moses Lenol Kulala, to launch the declaration by the elders to end FGM.
Tunataka tuendelee na haya masomo. Ile tunasema ni ya kwamba wakati ile inakuja kugraduate, wazee mnataka kuniambia ya kwamba tumeshindwa kunjua ni njia gani ingine huyu msichana anaweza kugraduate bila kumuumiza. Si tunaweza tufikirie jameni? Kaeni mufikirie.
Hawa wazee ndio wanakuanga unspoken custodian of the constitution of the Samburu community. Once they have declared and blessed that we should end FGM, I think this is an additional commitment, because besides being illegal, today we have the support of the customary elders.
And I'm happy to say the decision makers of West Pokot, of the Boronas, and the Samburu now have made that decision.
Kweli kama sheria imekataa ukeketaji, wacha sisi Council of Elders ama wasee wa Samburu tuwe mstari wa mbele kuonyesha dunia mzima na hata Kenya ndio wengine wapate kutufuata.
The president at the same time drumming up support for the Building Bridges Initiative bill. The president's visit seemingly loaded with goodies for the community, as Kisima Girls School benefited from a donation of a 62-seater bus with plans in place to construct a multi-purpose hall in the institution.
Today we are here to work with your parents and your elders and to plead with them to allow the girls of Kenya to be able to take their rightful position in society alongside their male counterparts.
The president also issued title deeds to the residents. The ongoing construction of a 3.2 billion shillings 65-kilometer Naibo Posta Kisima Maralal Road in the county, whose works commenced in 2017, is scheduled to be completed by August this year. President Uhuru Kenyatta, who was crowned a Samburu elder, said the government will continue investing in projects aimed at unlocking the economic potential of the expansive county. Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News.
In other news, 25% of all internal security challenges in the country are directly linked to land ownership disputes. Interior and National Coordination Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says it is with this in mind that the government has committed to support the National Land Commission in executing its mandate. He was speaking during unveiling of the National Land Commission 5-year strategic plan.
Stakeholders in the land sector optimistic of improved management of public land following the launch of the National Land Commission 2021-2026 strategic plan.
You've seen the kind of land grabbing that we've witnessed in this country in the last couple of years. We need to put a stop to it. And the best way to sustain this is by ensuring that all school land is titled.
2 title deeds, 3 title deeds. So it was difficult to know which land belongs to who. I think these 2 issues should be addressed by government to ensure that we do not have problems with the land.
And we would like them to be funded so that as much as they acquire land for strategic government projects, they can also ensure that this land is vetted so that we do not lose it again to grabbers.
The National Land Commission chairperson Gershom Otachi says they are looking forward to constructive engagement with all stakeholders to address land disputes at national and county level.
We, as a commission, are committed to constructive engagement with our stakeholders, and the main stakeholder is national government, followed by county governments, because we manage land for national government and for county governments.
Interior National Coordination Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i noted internal security challenges continue to derail actualization of government flagship projects.
Titles on top of titles and so on. 25% of our internal security challenges are related to land ownership, the grabbing, the fraud, and so on, relating to land. That is why when we have conversations such as we are having here, and when we do activities such as we are doing this morning, it's very good for the country and it's very good for the security of the country.
He further urged the Commission to ensure government institutions develop an inventory of land ownership to guard against unnecessary disputes.
I know you have required of all of us to develop an inventory of the land that we own. I ask you to push us a bit more. Some of our departments have not done that. Some of our departments have not completed and they don't know how much land they own and where they own it. And this is what creates vulnerability.
The strategic plan will provide guidance to the Commission to achieve its mandate for the next 5 years.
And as the world celebrated World Engineering Day Thursday, members of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya marked the day by engaging school girls at St. Mary's Girls Secondary School in Isiolo in an interactive session meant to encourage them to embrace mathematics and science subjects. The girls were mentored and encouraged to venture into male-dominated profession.
The world celebrated World Engineering Day yesterday amid calls for girls to join the profession that has long been dominated by men. Institution of Engineers of Kenya decided to mark the day at Isiolo with girls at St. Mary's Girls Secondary School in mentoring the young girls.
Wamepata fursa ya kuongea na wasichana wengine ambao wamefanya engineering, ndio waone kuwa hii engineering sio kitu ngumu. Wasichana pia kama wao wametoka sehemu hii wameweza kufaulu na wameajiriwa kazi na wamefanya kazi vizuri.
Nakuwa na attitude ambayo si nzuri kuhusu somo la hesabu. Na mimi kwa mfano mimi nilikuwa na changamoto, lakini niliweza kuinuka juu ya changamoto hiyo na nikaona kwamba inawezekana.
Engineer Grace Mativo, a specialist in biosystems engineering, called upon parents to refrain from choosing careers for their children and instead support them to pursue careers of their choice, noting that female engineers in the country are only 23% of the total number of registered engineers.
Wakati mwingine labda mzazi anaona huyu mwanafunzi wangu anapaswa kuwa engineer ama kuwa daktari ama kuwa labda accountant ama jambo kama hilo. Lakini kuna kile ambacho mwanafunzi anahisi ndani ya moyo wake ndicho angependelea zaidi.
The engagement you've had has been very productive, from the reaction of the students, even the questions you have asked, and from the way they have reacted to the speakers, to the engineers who have spoken to them, we are confident.
This is the second year the Institution of Engineers of Kenya are marking the day and will be moving to different counties each year to mentor school girls. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Ruth Wambui.
Kericho Law Courts has been declared unfit for occupation after cracks developed in the upper chambers. The cracks emerged after an additional floor was put up to accommodate more chambers, causing instability. Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Ann Amadi, has directed that the alternative building be identified for physical court sessions.
Is the state of Kericho Law Courts. Gaping cracks in the building that houses the court chambers. While on a fact-finding mission to the facility, Judiciary Chief Registrar Ann Amadi, accompanied by Kericho resident Judge Azenath Ongiri, say the judiciary would issue an official and comprehensive statement on the next course of action. Elsewhere, non-governmental organizations in Busia County have reiterated the need for sensitization of administrators, chiefs, prison department and county residents so as to deal with gender-based violence cases.
Naweza enda pale kwa chief ama kwa sub chief wasaidike hata kwa polisi wakiripoti hiyo dhuluma na wasaidiwe hata na wazee katika kijiji.
And traders in Nakuru Kwanjenga have been left stranded after a land they allege was set aside to construct a market for them was fenced off to pave way for a road construction.
Na wenzangu tunahangaika, hatuna mahali tunaweza fanyia kazi, barabara imeharibiwa, hakuna mahali tunaweza tafutia watoto wetu. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali itusaidie.
In Kitui County, a section of the clergy has condemned political disagreements witnessed in the by-elections conducted by the National Electoral Body on Thursday.
Cha maana ni watu kupiga kura za ukweli, watu wachague yule wanataka ambaye ataongoza vizuri ili tuweze kwenda mbele. Mambo ya vita kuanza kutengana kwa ajili ya kabila ya mtu, mwelekeo wa mtu inafunja amani ambayo ndio tunapaswa kuendeleza.
Finally, residents of Mpeketoni area in Igembe North Sub-County have benefited from a new police post and residential units for police officers. The project was undertaken by area MP Maoka Maore using the NG-CDF as a way of scaling up surveillance in the area.
Tutakupangia bwana OCPD. Hapa tutakuwa na hiyo ofisi ya Mpeketoni ndio waweze kuchunga hii shida ya hapa.
For Channel 1 News,
fanya hivi, wewe teremuka tu chini. Hata watu wanangojea, unasema unione, si ninakuona ndio huyu kucha. Kucha ninakuona. Nimekuita mara ngapi Kate? This is the Nissan Note.
Hii ndio motoka.
Not that this is the Nissan Note we are giving out.
Na ni rahisi sana kuwekelea bid. Unaenda kwenye lipa na M-Pesa. Unaweka paybill number 4032353. Kisha unakelea account number ya Nissan Note ni Note, N-O-T-E. Namba ambayo unapenda, labda unapenda 100, labda unapenda 200. Wekelea Note 100, Note 200. Alafu tutakuitisha shilingi 40 peke yake, 40 bob only. Weka pin yako, utakuwa umekelea bid ya hii Nissan Note. Inakungoja wewe mahali popote ulipo. Mimi na mtumishi tutakupea.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Amerudi wapi? Ni vitu vyako, subiri.
Yale ya impeachment ya governor. Kabisa, ndio hayo. Tayari tushaongea na MCAs. Shida iko wapi?
Bwana Simitia. Ndiyo. Leo utamwamini vipi huyu mtu kama atatutekelezea mambo yetu?
Hebu jamaza,
nimekuja hapa tusuluhisheni jambo.
Mzee, kama unataka nyinyi wasikize, huyu asongee chochote hapa sasa hivi.
It's time for business news. The swarms of desert locust have been spotted in Nakuru as the pests continue to spread, even as the Food and Agriculture Organization says good progress has been achieved in controlling the pest in Kenya, where swarms are no longer flying in from neighboring countries. In its latest update on desert locust, FAO says swarms of locust in northern and central Kenyan regions are smaller and much less numerous than a year ago.
The second invasion of desert locust in the country seems to be spreading to the breadbasket regions after swarms were spotted in Kuresoi and Molo areas of Nakuru County. Other swarms were on Friday spotted in Nakuru town, raising fears that the pest might eventually spread to key food-producing regions. So far, desert locusts have been spotted in at least 8 counties. However, speaking on phone to KBC, Food and Agriculture Organization FAO Deputy Country Director Hamisi Williams said spraying activities in affected areas has been intensified.
They moved around in Njoro towards Kuresoi, but they have been dealt with since yesterday. So they've been treated actually.
In its latest desert locust update, FAO says even though it has intensified control operation in the East African region, recent rains may see hatched locusts in northern Kenya and southern Ethiopia rapidly mature. Benson Ruba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok has threatened to move to court to stop the implementation of the new tea regulations on concerns that it would roll back gains made by the devolved unit. Barchok says the new law interferes with direct tea sales, which would affect a deal that the county government of Bomet had sealed with Iran.
Since its publication, the new tea regulations has been met by a backlash from various stakeholders in the tea value chain. The latest to oppose implementation of the new tea regulations is Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok, who has threatened to join the growing list of lawsuits seeking to have the implementation of the new law halted. He is concerned that the new law bans direct tea sales and requires that all tea produced in Kenya be sold exclusively through the Mombasa tea auction. This, the governor says, would roll back gains made by Bomet County government that had secured a direct tea sale deal with Iran.
Tulikuwa tumefaidika kupata marafiki ya Iran kununua chai yetu. So juzi, there is a law that came into effect on 11th of January. Ile members wetu wa parliament walikuwa wamepitisha na president akaweka sahihi. Kama governor wa Bomet, kuna kesi nimepeleka kotini kusimamisha hiyo sheria.
He argues that instead of banning direct tea sales, the new law should have used the auction prices as a guide for similar marketing deals.
Msimamo yetu ni hiyo sheria isimamishwe kwa sababu inatunyanyasa kama wakulima. Ningependelea kama ungekuwa wameandika kwa hiyo sheria ya kwamba kama unauza chai yako direct, then pay ambayo utapewa na ule mnunuzi ambayo tumepata isianguke chini ya ile tunapewa kwa auction ya Mombasa.
Kenya Tea Development Agency and the Kenya Tea Growers Association have filed petitions challenging implementation of the new tea regulations. Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 Business.
And 20 SACCOs are under investigation for misappropriation of members' savings as the government cracks the whip on errant cooperatives. The Commissioner for Cooperatives Development, Geoffrey Njang'ombe, says they have started recovering members' savings from troubled SACCOs, including 16 million shillings from the Busia County SACCO.
In efforts to help SACCO members who are on the verge of losing their savings due to poor governance, the government has been tightening regulations of players in the cooperative movement through the SACCO Amendment Bill 2020. Part of the proposal, the government says, will be policies that will ensure members recoup some of their monies. To this end, 20 SACCOs are under investigation for mishandling members' contribution, and the recovery exercise is ongoing.
We have recovered some money from Busia County SACCO. We have MEC SACCO. The amount which had been taken was about 16 million, and I know we've recovered about 2 million already recovered. We have other cases either pending in court, but over time, if we check, we can be able to quantify these cases. We also had some delays through the court process, but we've had some understanding with the former chair.
It has also emerged that all officials working for cooperatives are required to register with the Kenya Society of Professional Cooperators once the policy to incorporate it to the amendment bill is finalized.
There's going to be a code of conduct for this professional body, Kenya Society for Professional Cooperators, so that if you are a member and you engage in unprofessional conduct, then there is a way to deal with you through that code of conduct, which is actually established.
There are also plans to have SACCOs for PSBs put in the category of transport SACCOs in efforts to tailor their regulations.
This concept has been endorsed by the players, that is NTSA, the police, and even the Matatu Association itself.
Benson Rupa reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Stanbic Holdings became the first lender to release its 2020 full-year financial results after highlighted Stanbic Holdings increased its loan loss provision by 41.78% to 9.84 billion shillings after the stock of non-performing loans hit 25.04 billion shillings. The lender reported a 19% reduction in full-year net profit to 5.2 billion shillings and trimmed dividends by nearly half to 3 shillings and 80 cents.
The second half of last year was characterized by financial institutions reporting a steep increase in non-performing loans, blamed on the adverse impact of COVID-19 pandemic on businesses. Stanbic Holdings, which is the first lender to release its 2020 full-year financial results, shows that the problem could be pronounced in the banking industry. Stanbic says it issued loan moratoriums to 7,200 clients and restructured loans worth 40 billion shillings. As a result, the lender saw its stock of non-performing loans increase 29.42% to 25.04 billion shillings. Stanbic Holdings blames these on a COVID-19 battered economy, subdued interest rates, weakening of the local currency and increased regulations.
We saw a lot of pressure in the economy. The shilling had the double whammy effect of, effectively shutting down all the dollar revenues from tourism, horticulture, and then having a huge pressure in terms of imports because we were going through COVID.
As a result, and in line with the IFRS 9 preparation of financial statements, the lender increased its loan loss provision by 41.78% to 9.84 billion shillings. This ate into the lender's 2020 full-year net profit that dipped 19% to 5.2 billion shillings.
We then had to do what we call a restore, which is how do we continue to run the business in this environment and start to see how we can continue to service our clients and to support our business. And then thirdly, the last piece was rebound. How do we see opportunities and what can we see from a growth perspective during this period?
Interest income from loans and advances was down 8.6% to 14.37 billion shillings, which was lifted by a 10% increase in interest income from government securities. Total interest income dipped 3.4% to 19.7 billion shillings. Shareholders who pocketed 7 shillings and 5 cents per share last year will this year receive less after Stanbic Holdings directors proposed a final dividend payout of 3 shillings and 80 cents per share. Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 Business.
Moving on, restrictions imposed to curb the spread of the coronavirus has sunk Rwanda's economy into recession. Over 500,000 people face unemployment, and there is a risk of more Rwandans falling into poverty here. Other details of this and other stories making headlines in Africa.
Over 80% of those recently out of work in Rwanda are in rural areas, according to data published by the World Bank this week. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected sectors such as services, small to medium enterprises, and the leisure and tourism industry. There has been a significant drop in activity as Africa's technology hub that has been in lockdown, leading to a notable decline in growth. Rwanda's government has adopted an economic recovery plan estimated at $900 million, whose implementation will span over 2 fiscal years. Tourism has been the top foreign exchange earner, and when the pandemic kicked in, this sector was heavily affected. Meanwhile, Uganda's national carrier has announced that it has received landing approval from Heathrow Airport and Dubai International Airports as it resumes long-haul flights. Uganda Airlines say it is working on obtaining traffic rights, foreign operators permit, and landing approvals to other target destinations. The airline in January and February received 2 A330-800 neo aircraft, which it hopes to use for long-haul flights to Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. The carrier, which collapsed in 2001 and resumed in August 2019, is currently operating flights within Africa. Ugandans spend over $400 million on air travel annually. Finally, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations says in its latest update that intensified control operation and limited breeding of locusts in East Africa have calmed the locust crisis in the region. FAO noted that control operations have been intensified in the Horn of Africa region against swarms that are still immature. According to FAO, rains that fell during the last week of February may allow swarms to mature rapidly in southern Ethiopia and lay eggs that could hatch in late March, causing smaller hopper bands to form. The UN organization observed that in northeast Tanzania, there are reports of small immature swarms near Arusha.
And China is aiming for an economic growth rate above 6% in 2021. After scrapping its target last year, China's Premier Li Keqiang announced the target on Friday at the opening of this year's National People's Congress. The target marks a return to strong growth after COVID-19 pandemic impacted the world's second largest economy. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines across the globe.
Although China's economy grew last year, it only managed 2.3% growth, its weakest result in decades. Now, China aims at an economic growth rate above 6% this year, a target that appears modest, falling well below the International Monetary Fund's estimate of 8.1% growth for China's economy this year. This highlights the Chinese economy's strong rebound after the pandemic shutdowns led to a sharp 6.8% contraction in the first quarter of 2020. The economy grew in the second half of 2020, and China was the only major global economy to post gains for the year, although they were slender compared to previous years. Now, the government hopes to continue with the rebound. Meanwhile, a group of major oil producers have agreed to extend production cuts for another month despite a recent price surge, choosing to limit supply until the global economic recovery is more firmly established. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and allied producers said they would largely roll over production cuts during the month of April. However, Russia and Kazakhstan were granted exemptions to increase their crude oil output by a small amount. Finally, India, the world's second largest producer of tea, suffered a loss of 44 million kilos in the export market during the pandemic hit 2020. Now, this is 18.2% less than what it had sold overseas the previous year. The global tea export market too shrunk by 76 million kilos to 1.8 billion kilos in 2020. The latest data shows that in 2020, India lost 21 million kilos of business in Iran, one of its top destinations, and 9 million kilos in Russia, while it gained marginally in Poland, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia. Experts say the primary reason behind India's shortfall in tea exports was the strict lockdown, which led to skipping of overgrown leaves across tea estates. For Channel 1 News, I'm Wangare Washiori.
Let's now have the sport news. Sports federations must put an end to wrangles that are affecting the growth of sports in the country, as well as Kenya's representation at international events. The words of National Olympic Committee of Kenya President Paul Tergat during a meeting between NOC and all federation representatives today in Nairobi. The meeting was held by NOC with the aim of ensuring a better representation of the Team Kenya at the year's Olympic Games and others that follow.
Kenya has been securing medals in only a few disciplines at major international events, and this has been as a result of wrangles that have hit many federations in the country, according to NOG President Paul Tergat. Tergat, who met officials from all federations in the country, says that unity in both leadership and selection of teams will ensure that Kenya performs at the highest level and in turn flying high the national flag.
If all of us that we are in sports, we are elected, or you have actually you have come out maybe to stand for any position, we have to make sure that we put sportsmen at the middle or at the heart of everything that we are doing in terms of our activities in our federations or in any sector where you are in terms of whether maybe between at the ministry or anywhere that we are, so that we can be able maybe to move together, because we don't want to discourage any potential talent of a young sportsman not to achieve their optimum in the bigger arena.
With NOC already setting foundations for the 2024 and 2028 Olympic Games, development of junior athletes who will compete in those events was a major topic of discussion, with questions on how to send coaches to schools to identify and nurture talents for free, a possibility for NOC and federations.
Most of us have just stumbled through our careers by luck without any proper support. So we need a structured way that coaches can be supported by, let's say, a monthly pay. Then that way the coaches can be very consistent, go to the ghettos down there and nurture talent to the highest level possible.
We are able to support selected federation coaches, but this is based on the strategic plan. We've called on them to have a strategic plan towards 2024. We've given them a guideline on how to develop the youth athletes, and we've given them a guideline on how to develop the senior athletes. It is based on that strategic plan and their response to those guidelines that will be able to say, yes, these are deserving coaches, because we don't want it to be spontaneous.
Paralympians were also part of discussion, Tergat saying that they are and have always been part of Team Kenya.
As an athlete, when you meet maybe somebody like Tergat saying, Karibu, you've done well, it motivates the athlete. So my idea was that if a team has done well and they're coming, let us have those royal models coming. They're like Kina Tergat coming to meet the team. They really motivate them when they come.
I think looking in terms of where we are now is that I don't think that Paralympians have been left out. I think we will be able to work together even going forward, and that's what we want maybe to see working as a team and giving each and everyone opportunity maybe to work to achieve what they want to achieve.
Despite the COVID-19 pandemic and tough return to sport regulations, federations have assured they will adhere to those guidelines.
Most of the host countries in Africa do not have hockey facilities, so we are normally left out. That is both All African Games and the Youth Games. This is not the first time we are suffering. We've suffered before.
Kenya will be sending a strong contingent to the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games to be held from the 23rd of July to 8th August in Japan.
Kenya Premier League leaders Tusker FC defeated Ulinzi Stars by a solitary goal in a league match played today. Boniface Mushiri scored the lone goal in the second half to ensure the Brewers bag maximum points. The team, coached by Robert Matano, needed to bounce back to winning ways after their 2-1 loss to Bidco United. The Soldiers were more desperate for a win after back-to-back defeats to AFC Leopards and Bandari, respectively. In another match, Kariobangi Sharks and Posta Rangers played to a barren draw. 4 matches are on card tomorrow. Bandari FC will host Nzoia Sugar in Mombasa, while AFC Leopards square it out with Nairobi City Stars. Sofapaka will take on Bidco United as Western Stima play with Wazito FC.
Ashim.
will face Tunisia today in the third place playoff match of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations tonight. The event culminates tomorrow with the final match between Ghana and Uganda. The two matches will be broadcasted live from KBC Channel 1.
Gambia was relegated to playoffs after losing 1-0 to Ghana, while Tunisia was no match for Uganda, who thrashed them 4-1 in the other semi-finals. Uganda is appearing in the Under-20 finals for the first time. Ghana won the Under-20 World Cup trophy in 2009, becoming the only African country to have registered such a fate. A total of 16 teams took part in the tournament hosted by Mauritania. The two matches, the third playoff, and the finals will be aired live on KBC Channel 1.
Atletico Madrid's Kieran Trippier is set to make a return from a 10-week ban in the highly anticipated Madrid derby. The English right-back was suspended in December and fined £70,000 after a Football Association panel found he broke betting rules. He is available for Sunday's game as leaders Atletico look to put 8 points clear to neighbours Real Madrid. Here is our weekend diary with fixtures of the matches set for the weekend. And the sports news brings us to the end of Channel 1 Weekend this Friday night. On our question tonight, we asked you, will you take the jab if and when the time comes? I'm talking about the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine that is now rolled out in the country, and for the other counties, the vaccination exercise will begin from Monday. But today we saw the exercise or the campaign officially launched by the PS in the Ministry of Health, Susan Mochache, and of course that vaccination process was started by the DG in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth. So on Facebook, Karanja Jumbo, you're saying no, no, no. The best thing to avoid is to avoid the jab like a plague. COVID-19 will vanish on its own. Your views there. Stephen Otiwa, you're saying let them start with the top government officials. Personally, I'm not ready to take it anytime soon. Carol, you're saying yes, why not? Together we will take it. And then we also have Haron Mumo, who is saying that I can accept the jab any sooner. Let the seniors lead by example. Thank you so much for your feedback. Personally, I will take if and when the time comes. I'm Purity Museo. So, Lucy Mora has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Do enjoy the rest of our programming. Good night and God bless. Up next is weather forecast.
Good evening. I hope you're well. Friday it is, and weatherman says dry weather conditions will continue over most parts of the country in the next 24 hours. My name is Irene Mchuma Odim. Tonight, the whole country is experiencing partly cloudy conditions, save for the Lake Basin region and western sector, where there are showers accompanied by thunderstorms, and that is over a few places. Tomorrow, sunny intervals will characterize the whole country during the morning hours, right from the northeastern to the northwestern, the Lake Basin region and western sector, the capital and counties around the region, also the coastal strip. This cloudiness that you're seeing dotting the country will only affect a few areas, and that will be during the early morning hours. In the afternoon, sunny intervals will continue across the country, but there will be showers accompanied by thunderstorms in Kisii, Kericho, Kisumu, Kakamega, Kitale. The capital will be sunny. Meru and Nyeri will experience showers during the afternoon hours, and the highest temperatures across the country will be experienced in Mandera at 39 degrees Celsius. The capital will tomorrow experience highs of 27 degrees Celsius, and if you have plans to move to the coast, temperatures will range between 33 and 32 degrees Celsius. Let's now cross the borders and have a look at the international forecast. Good night. See you tomorrow. God bless.
Vera Beauty College. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika, and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 22